Acts
Yes.
chapter 14,
Chapter 14.
7 to
7 to
chapter 14,
chapter 14.
16.
16.
And there
And there
they continued to preach the gospel.
they continued to preach the gospel.
Now at Lystra
Now at Lystra
there was a man
there was a man
sitting
sitting
who could not use his feet.
who could not use his feet.
He was crippled
He was crippled
from birth
from birth
and had never walked.
and had never walked.
He listened to Paul speaking,
He listened to Paul speaking,
and Paul,
looking
intently at him
intently at him
and seeing
and seeing
that he had faith to be made well, said in a loud voice,
said in a loud voice,
"Stand upright on your feet,
stand upright to your feet,
on your feet."
on your feet.
And he sprang up,
And he sprang up,
began walking, and when the crowds saw what Paul had done,
what Paul had done,
they lifted up their voices, saying in Lycaonian, "The gods have come down
the gods had come down
to us
to us
in the likeness of men." Barnabas they called Jews, and Paul Hermes, because he was the chief speaker
he was the chief speaker
and the priest of Jews, whose temple was at the entrance of the city, brought oxen and garlands to the gates, and wanted to offer sacrifice with the crowds. But when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard of it, they tore their garments and rushed out into the crowd, crying out, "Men, why are you doing these things? We also are men of like nature with you, and we bring you good news, that you should turn from these vain things to a living God, who made the heaven and the earth and the sea and all that is in them. In past generations he allowed all the nations to walk in their own ways.